You are tuned in to Making a Difference with Melissa Billie Clark. This show shares compelling stories and experiences of well-known faces and everyday people who change the world in big and small ways. Get ready to open your mind and your heart with Melissa Billie Clark.
I've had the honor and pleasure to cover the annual NYPD sleigh ride for my local paper, the Canarsie Courier, throughout the years. This year, Making a Difference is thrilled to showcase this amazing event because that's all this group does for families around the 5 boroughs of New York City. Make a difference. Chief Jeffrey Madry leads his department at Community Affairs, where over 20,000 presents are distributed and donated from various organizations, including the New York City Police Foundation. Police officers spend their own money on their desired superhero costumes and greet the people of the community with warmth, kindness, and care.
It's been amazing. We've traveled all throughout the city. We've given out tens of thousands of toys, and there's no greater feeling than to see children with a smile on their face because we were able to bless them with gifts this holiday season.
Yeah, they're so happy, and you continue on doing this every year, is that correct?
Absolutely. We're looking forward to next year. 2022, here we go.
Listen, we're having a beautiful time out here. If you're not here, you're definitely missing it. We're in East New York, Brookline Project. We're having a beautiful time. We're giving out toys for everybody, the kids, the adults. Come out here with us. You can trust the NYPD because I trust them. So when they coming back, that's a blessing. We got to give back to them also.
Exactly.
So let's appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I love you.
It's incredible. It's been difficult because of COVID, but we make it happen, and it's great. The people love it, we love it, we're going to continue to do it.
Hi, thank you for joining us on Making a Difference. I'm your host, Melissa Billie Clark. It's the Christmas season, and what better way to celebrate than with Grammy-nominated rock percussionist Everett Bradley's Holidelic. Take a look.
Holidelic here, dropping our own brand of holiday funk in your heart and in your hips. Come on, y'all, it's time to party.
Holidelic was born out of my obsession with Parliament Funkadelic. I grew up on that music and I love it. And I also like Christmas. I'm like a Christmas geek.
He brings such a great energy to the live show.
Yeah, he's bigger, larger than life on stage.
Yeah, energy's a good way to put it. He's got a big smile and he's always cooking. He's a joy to be around. That's our endorsement.
Wonderful human being.
Everett Bradley.
I'm Meredith Vieira here with Papadelic, and we're going to read one of our favorite Christmas stories. It was The Night Before Christmas.
I play a character named Papadelic, and I wear a big white fro with Christmas lights in it and 6-inch platform boots. Holidelic, it's the warm fuzziness of Christmas that we all know during the holidays, but it's like a contemporary look at the holidays through funk. So Holidelic has been running for years now, and every year it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's one big party.
Everett, from one Christmas geek to another, happy holidays to you, sir.
Thank you, my fellow geek.
We love
geek.
Christmas so much. Now, thank you so much for joining us and bringing Funktacular.
Funktacular. Come on, we're always inventing words. You can too.
I'm trying very hard here to keep up with your amazing words because this is from the 70s. Like, well, I was born 1980, but this is so amazing, this nostalgia that you're bringing back. And it's an interesting story of how this came about back in 2002. What was your motivation, Everett?
It was actually from the tragedy of 9/11. A buddy of mine and actually a songwriting partner, his name is Michael Kyoto, and we were having a hard time dealing with it, and we decided that we wanted to write some Christmas songs as a way to cheer us up. And we worked on one, and then we kept going, and it grew into a big sort of catalog of stuff. And what was so interesting about it is that the Christmas songs had like a sort of wide-eyed contemporary look at the holiday, and they weren't really seeped in any kind of tradition. It was more of a contemporary sort of vibey, urban sort of look at the holiday in a very now way.
Love it so much. And you've worked with David Bowie, Quincy Jones, Cyndi Lauper, John Bon Jovi, who we saw in the video. What happened when you had a conflict in your schedule regarding Hall & Oates and Bruce Springsteen, which I can't believe I'm uttering out of my mouth with someone who knows them?
I know. Even to hear you say it, it still makes my head spin. But yeah, it was back in 2012 when Bruce's management reached out to me, and Bruce was considering having a percussionist for the first time, but that was a very new thing, and he wanted to hear what that might sound like. So he asked me to come in and just sit in with the band on the band's rehearsals. And at the time, I was scheduled to go to Japan with Hall & Oates, and they wanted me to come that week, and I couldn't. They said, "Can you delay it one day so you could come play with Bruce's band and then fly to Japan?" And I said no, and I said no, it's because I'm the kind of artist that likes to try to keep their commitment, and that's all what I've always done, and I decided to do it then. Of course, when I hung up the phone, I was like, "Really, Everett? Now you want to keep that commitment?" And Bruce Springsteen's on the other line. Come on. But when I was in Japan, Bruce's management reached out and they said, "Can you take a picture of your percussion setup, send it to us, and call us when you return?" And so I did all of that. And when I got back, I called the management, and they said, "Well, it's not like Bruce was auditioning other percussionists. He was so impressed with your commitment that he decided to wait for you."
Love it.
Right?
I love it. So on this show, it's all about making a difference and what advice we can give to people. And you were put into a circumstance. So my question to you is, when we're faced with important and life-changing choices and decisions, how do we decide on what are important priorities without jeopardizing relationships?
Well, from that example alone, it was about honesty and integrity. And it speaks volumes when you actually go for it and let it play out. It always plays in your favor, and you'll be celebrated for it. In any situation, I would guess that. And also, of course, when you're making decisions, it's about health and safety of others, especially in this day and age of a pandemic.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So that's really important. And and you also have to just keep the big picture in mind. And it's not just about you. You have to be careful not to be too selfish, and keep all parties in mind when you make those kinds of decisions.
Yeah, honesty is always the best policy.
Yep.
Now I understand that you got hit with COVID. How was that experience, and how are you feeling now?
It was rough. I
Mm,
got hit with it right at the very beginning, at the end of March, right, after they shut down the world, basically. And it was really scary because, I was dealing with it in my apartment, and all I could hear were sirens outside of my window, and people were still washing their hands. You remember that?
mm,
When there was like, keep washing your hands all day long, when it was actually masks is what we really needed to protect ourselves from each other.
mm.
So it was really scary. And by the 10th day, I was on the phone with an ER doctor trying to decide if I should come to the hospital or not because my breathing was challenging. Um, I had one of those virtual sessions with the doctor, and she tricked me. She asked me to show her around my apartment. And I thought it was odd at the time. And I said, okay, sure. But she was actually listening to me talk and breathe because she wanted to see and get a sense of my breathing. And she says, usually if someone's like taking a breath every 3 words or mid-sentence, that's when she suggests that you come into the hospital. But I was making complete sentences, and I was walking from room to room comfortably, and that was her way of judging if I should come in or not. And she said no. She said, in fact, you're going to be fine
So your
the
CO2
next
levels
day.
must have
And I
been.
think I think it was the power of suggestion. She told me I was going to be fine by the next day, and I was.
Wow. Do
Yeah, it's
you?
crazy.
How are you feeling today? Do
I'm
you?
feeling completely fine today. In
Good.
fact, after the fact, my doctor said I have enough antibodies for all of New York City. So I actually think it's protected me. I mean, of course, I'm vaccinated and boosted as well.
Right.
So I feel like I have like a real armor right now.
Yeah, you're totally protected. Thank you
Totally.
so much. I'm so glad that you're sitting here with us.
Me
So,
too.
yeah, thank you. So you worked virtually, I'm assuming after you got better and everything, and we were in lockdown. So how is it being back with people, and what were the challenges performing with your audience on the other side of a computer?
Well, I was really fortunate to have a studio set up that I can work virtually. A lot of artists were caught off guard by that and had to figure it out quickly about having a camera set up,
Mm,
about being able to record and send your vocals somewhere so you could be included in a television show. SNL reached out to me about a skit, and they're like, are you able to record your vocals? Because usually they call me in to sing in the booth there. So I was able to do it in my studio and send them in, and that way I was lucky to be included in various television programs, on album projects, and so forth. So that has been good. Of course, it's nothing close to being in the room with someone and feeling that live energy and having that sort of spontaneous kind of joy of performance.
yeah, you're so humble. You've been in this industry for how long, Everett?
Oh, for 90 years now. No,
It's been a long time for you now.
I don't know. I guess for the last 40 years I've been,
Yeah,
um, or so, something like that, like performing professionally.
yeah, and you play a
And
lot of
I'm
instruments.
very lucky to have the career that I've had. And I just suppose if I just keep showing up and being honest about who I am and what I can do, I'll be okay.
I think a lot of people respect that. Now you have right next to you, because you play a lot of instruments, and one of them is jambi. Am I saying that right?
The djembe,
Djembe drum.
yeah,
And
spelled Djembe.
yes, and it's a powerful musical instrument, and it could be heard in the Caribbean. So you have it right next to you. Would you mind just
I
playing it?
do. I have one. Now, this is not a traditional one because it's made by Remo, which I love it. And of course, I have the Bon Jovi symbol on
There
it.
you go.
Because I use it with John a lot.
Yeah.
But traditionally they use rope to strap on goat skin on the top. But this is one that's designed by Remo that travels well.
Yeah.
Because with rope you have to like tighten it, and there's a very specific sort of technique to keep the drum head tight. But this you use just like a screwdriver and such. And it's a little warm, but it still sounds good.
We like to hear that when
And
we're going to
my
the
favorite part about it. You hit it in the middle, and it has a deep, dark tones. And as you go out to the outside, the tones get higher. So the range is gorgeous to me and very moving. And if you're close to it, you can feel it right here. Yeah. So it's one of my favorite instruments ever, because I'm a rhythmic person and I'm a singer. And I feel like with just this, I can take my gifts anywhere.
Yeah, I love it, because it was, actually originated in West Africa. So
Yep.
I had asked you prior in the interview if you feel spiritual, because I know that I was introduced to this instrument in the Oates religion. So people use it, as rituals, and it's beautiful because it calls upon the spirits and, what have you. We're not going to get into that, but I love it because it's positive.
Yeah.
So do you feel spiritual when, you're banging on it and it's next to your heart and next to your body?
Absolutely. I mean, the first time I heard one played, I was so moved by it just because of the range of sound, but I felt like it just touched, like I feel it in my bones, and that's spiritual for me. And the fact that it speaks to me, and that I just with this one drum, I have like this sort of full body expression of myself that I can take anywhere, and that is spiritual to me as well.
You feel that when you're performing. I mean, when we first showed that video, you can see that I saw the little boy, and then you just popped out as this grown man, and you're just like this holidelic, funkadelic, amazing guy. I love it so much. It's so much diverse. What's so good about your music, Everett? It's diverse. Anybody can listen to it.
Oh, that's really sweet. Thank you.
Really,
that means a lot.
Of course, because I know my mom. My mom loved Billie Ocean. She grew up in Harlem, so she grew up with all this music, and I love diverse music, and it just brings everybody together, and that's what we need right now, especially during the Christmas season.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for everything that you do. I wanted to ask you what your Christmas wish is.
Oh, wow. That's deep. I have so many, but if I was forced to just whittle it down to one thing, I would say, and this is corny, but
we like corny on this show.
My Christmas wish is that everyone on this planet would allow everyone else to enjoy this lifetime. Yeah. I think it's a real gift, and it's mysterious, and we're still trying to figure out why we're here and how we got here, and there's arguments about it all the time, and we can all go on and on about that. But if you're in this moment and just life itself, I would love for everyone to just allow people to just enjoy it.
Live and let live.
Yeah.
I like that. I wish for that too. Thank you. Maybe between our two brains, we could wish that together.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your goals for 2022, Everett?
Oh, good question. Well, I do keep a little artistic list of things that I'd like to accomplish, and one of which is to make an American standards record. Yeah. There's a lot of songs that I learned when I was in college at Indiana University that I used to sing with the jazz band and with choirs. And I'd like to revisit that and do my own renditions of love songs from like the 40s, the 50s, and 60s.
Billie Holiday?
Possibly.
And
Cole Porter.
Yes.
There's many.
There's so many. And I saw that you love Maya Angelou. She's one of your
Yes,
favorite poets.
I do.
Yeah.
Her writings really move me.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to hearing that and seeing more of you because we need more of you out in this world. So
Oh, that's very sweet.
thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being on here. Happy holidays and a wonderful Happy New Year.
Happy holidays to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Making a Difference. I'm your host, Melissa Billie Clark. If you'd like to learn more about our show, please visit our website at melissabillieclarkshow.com. If you'd like to sponsor or be a guest, email melissa@melissaclarkshow.com. Let's make a difference together.